I got it.
With reckless abandon now? Kindergarten progress report. Oh my.
Can I ask a question regarding the whole FiOS thing? So FiOS, we're not out because of the weather, so that means it's not transmitting even on like Cablevision.
No, it's on Cablevision.
Oh, okay.
It's just the FiOS thing.
Okay, I got it.
So we're still live.
We're still live.
They take FiOS, steals the cable link, but the FiOS link is the Cablevision.
It's not, yeah, no, okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
She couldn't make it tonight. So I was voluntold in place of her.
Alrighty.
Is that right? Lefty or right? You're always welcome.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Wow.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You know, I was gonna rush through this now, right?
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Cedar Grove Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be advertised by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on bulletin boards in the district, published and/or transmitted to the Verona Cedar Grove Times and Star Ledger newspapers, tap into online news, filed with the township clerk, and posted on the district website. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pervulovich.
Yes.
Mr. Shoner.
Yes.
Mr. Valero.
Here.
Mr. Mandela.
Here.
Mrs. Dai.
Here. Before we get started, I wanted to let the public know that due to the weather, we're not being broadcast on FiOS right now, but we are on Cablevision, and if you're on FiOS, you're not getting this anyway, so I guess if you have a friend who's on Cablevision, maybe they'll let you know. So, this meeting is
Poor
open to...
FiOS people don't know what they're
Well, that's the
missing.
thing, I'm talking to the people on FiOS, and they're not hearing me.
They're not here.
Exactly. So anyway, I tried. The meeting is open for the public for comments on the agenda. Seeing none. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
How's it going? Glad to hear it. So there's a lot today as far as presentations, so we'll get started on that right away. But does anybody have any committee reports? I know, you and I were at a lot of different places.
I know.
Mr.
Do you
Schoner.
want to talk? Or?
No, you go ahead and I'll just chime in. How about that?
We attended the 8th grade open house at Cedar Grove High School, and this year the administration tried something a little different that was really very, very successful.
Absolutely.
And it was really a great breath of fresh air and a lot of fun. What they did this year is you rotated from classroom to classroom. You started in the auditorium where they
They gave you a colored folder, so you
Colored?
knew where you were going.
That's right. And the all-school council president opened the evening up, and then you went to
As
six.
did Mr. Mangili
Yes, he did. He did talk.
and the choir.
And
They
the
sang
choir.
as we entered.
That's right.
Were you there?
You know, I thought Mrs. Dye was just going to do it.
Doing this report.
You're forgetting stuff, so I'm just.
It's
Yes.
a joint report.
I was trying to make it a little shorter than to go into every
Well, you
detail.
kinda left out the part where
Yeah,
Mr.
so you
Mangili
went into-
welcomed everybody, and that was
So you went to
me.
6 different rooms and 6 different subject headings. In the auditorium was art and the music. They had economics and history was in another. The guidance counselors were in another room, and it was really great because you got a concentration of what was going on in each subject heading, and you also went into the cafeteria for the clubs. And it was really very engaging this year and kept everyone really active. So it was a lot of fun.
That was great, thank you. Thanks
Yes,
to
it
everybody
really
who
was.
organized it. I thought it went over.
It was
Yeah,
a
I thought
fantastic
there was a great turnout.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
everybody really responded quite well to it because it kept you moving. And also one of the great things that it did is it really showed off our building. It showed off the teachers, but it also showed off the building for 8th graders or parents in the middle school who really haven't seen all the dramatic changes up there. And you actually had a chance to walk through the building and meet everyone. So it was really great.
Do we have any idea how many students came? And I'm actually asking Ms. Rubino if we have any idea.
We
Karen might know.
or anyone, I guess, because we were handing out the folders, so I didn't know how many folders we handed out,
There
that's,
were 150 folders created. I wasn't there when they were handing them out. We
You emptied a box, right?
yeah, no,
We had 200 folders, and I want to say we were a little less than half.
that's great.
Yeah.
We're at about 95 folders. Now, understand those folders were given out not per person, but per family. And
Right.
I know there was a couple of late stragglers that came in as well.
Right, but no, I think
We
that's
were
great.
probably- I think the class is about 120. We probably were about 100.
That's great.
So I was
Yeah.
at St. Catherine's there as well.
Right, that's true too, yeah. No, I thought it was really well attended, I thought that was great.
Yeah, and you got a chance to talk to everyone in more 12-minute blocks where they were a presentation in a 12-minute block, but also you got to experience the building, which is, we've done all this changes up there. It was really quite dramatic.
And we're already planning exciting things for next year's
Yes.
orientation, I'm told.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying about that. What's next there, Mr.
Yes.
Shoner?
Sorry?
What's next to
That's
report
it.
on? No? What
That's
about
it?
last
No,
night?
well, I was gonna let you do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So last night, we attended
listen.
the 51st annual Christmas tree lighting that the Cedar Grove Recreation Department held. And it's just so nice, because it's really like just small town USA. I mean, you were there, Mr. Featherman, and it really was nice. And the high school choir was there, and there were Santa Claus
Santa
was there, of
Claus.
course, and there were the wooden soldiers, and there was the Zeppeli truck, that was good too, and it was great, so it was really, really nice.
There
Great
was
job,
tons of
town
cake.
council, recreation department, everybody did a really nice job, so.
They really switched it up this year, which is really
Oh, yeah,
quite
they
good.
added a lot, I
They added,
definitely think so.
added a lot, and there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yes.
Let's see, I attended the FSA meeting at the middle school last week. And of course, I left my notes someplace else. But let's see, Mr. Chell had presented, and lots going on there. They're already talking about TREPS, which is just right around the corner, really. That's going to be on March 18th, which is exciting, and it'll be held at the high school. And everybody's kind of gearing up for the holidays there. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention is that the Pride newspaper launched a new online media outlet, and that was actually really interesting, that you can actually get the newspaper online, and I actually clicked on it today, and it was the newer version than it was the last time I clicked on it. And so kudos to Dylan Jacoby, who's the editor-in-chief, and everyone else who made that possible, because I think that's great, and moving everybody forward into digital era, so I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
At the high
Mrs.
school.
Miller. of
Yeah,
course.
at the high school, yeah.
You took some of her thunder.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, I didn't say much at all, so you just totally
Stole her
expand
thunder.
on
Yes.
that,
You just
so.
Totally
I don't
stole.
have
You know what it was? It was from like 2
That's
weeks
why I look
ago.
at you all the time, whether I should talk or not.
You know.
Forget, you probably weren't.
You guys are really
No,
just
I
get
didn't
any
even
guests
know about
anymore.
it.
See, she wasn't gonna mention it, she didn't know about it. There, anyway,
really were.
now we're all talking about it, so you should all check it out.
It is great. It is great. The digital version is really great.
Absolutely. Moving on, anyone else have anything to,
Yeah, Future Ready is back again. We're going to be doing workshops in Trenton in
Yay.
January. So last year where we focused on like creating the indicators, this year we're going to be kind of tweaking them and coming up with new ones. So it should be fun. So we're kind of, making progress with it. So it should be good. So hopefully Mr. Featherman will join me for a few meetings down there in lovely Trenton. And we're going to keep pushing forward with Future Ready.
Because
Great.
this year we have the high school at North End.
correct,
Yes,
they are the next two.
for Atlantic City. Atlantic City in October 2018.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
All right, moving on. I see that we have the PowerPoint on for community service. Are we gonna do that, or are we gonna do volleyball first? Okay, it's first on the list, so that's why I
What,
was
you get to
gonna.
leave after this?
You don't, no.
So close.
Oh, yeah, we should probably do that first, too, sorry. So our student rep,
Yeah, so Alyssa couldn't make it tonight, so
we're glad to have you.
I'm in her spot.
And you are?
Yes,
Danielle DiPietro.
okay.
So
Welcome.
Thank you. So on November 21st, we had a turkey drive in which all school council, along with Unico, reached out to all the schools. So North End, South End, middle school, and the high school. So thank you, Ms. Dyer, Mr. Mattio, Mr. Mangeli, Mr. DeCourt, for allowing us to do that. And so we managed to raise over 18 turkeys for to give to Unico, in which they donated to families without turkeys. So that was a very big success this year. Next, we have Red Day this Friday for Interact Club in honor of World AIDS. So we ask all CGHS students and staff to wear red on Friday. Scott Prater. So on December 14th is the music department's winter concert at 7 o'clock in the CGHS auditorium. And then of the week of the 18th to the 22nd is our Spirit Week. So we have America Monday, Tourist Tuesday, Pajama Wednesday, Color Day Thursday, and Ugly Sweater Day / Holiday Sweater Friday.
What
And-
day is Ugly Sweater Day?
Ugly Sweater Day is Friday.
Thank you.
I guess you'll be making an
It's very
appearance at the high
important to
school
him.
that day.
Oh, no, you're not.
I like to irritate Mr. Mandela as much as possible.
So this year we
Will we
will
sport him
not
up
be
for Mr.
doing a
Feather?
holiday bash, and Mr. Mangili has a surprise for us in store and has not told us yet of what it is.
So we have to line up on the 22nd,
Yeah.
is that what you said?
And the last of my notes are lip sync is
Early?
January 12th, and adult admission is $18. Students and senior admission is $15, and the tickets go on sale December 12th, 2017. And the amount of a person can purchase for a ticket is $6 per customer due to renovation in our auditorium this year. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we lost seats.
Okay, so now we're going to have, yes, very nice job, thank you. And you don't have to stay for the rest, we just, you know, Alyssa doesn't. so
Really?
it's still- Well, they have school.
We're gonna be
What
left
do
with
you
no one
have?
as usual.
Moving
We're
on.
gonna be by ourselves.
So tonight we are recognizing, I'm just ignoring
I'm
you,
sorry,
the
Joe, you're
girls.
right. My bad.
Tonight we're recognizing the girls volleyball team, and we have Mr. Gogarty here, and I'm gonna apparently be handing out things too. Absolutely.
Mr. Shaw is taking pictures, is that what we normally do?
Give me your phone, please. How we do it apparently.
We're done. Pictures? More pictures? You need photo?
I think just a group, right?
Good evening. Tonight I want to present and honor our fall athletic championship teams, or I should say team, which is our girls volleyball team, who won the Super Essex Conference Colonial Division Championship this past fall.
Yay!
The team had an overall record of 18-9 and an SEC Colonial Division record of 12-2, and what's special about it is this was our high school's first ever volleyball championship. So a big kudos to these girls
That's
and
great.
coaches for that. I know we're missing a decent amount of girls with prior commitments and practices and things like that. So I'm going to call them up. I'm going to call them all up. So when I do call your name, just kind of come up and receive your certificate and kind of hang out for a picture. Gianna Kambu, Brittany Taylor, Chloe Weinstein, juniors, Madison Chesney, Brianna Cotis, Mary Ellen Neely, Jenna Tronio, Tara DeCourt, Michaela Kennedy, Jamie Lynch, Karen Ram,
Not funny.
Alexis Sanducci, Loren Vitale, and Coach Angie Owen.
Yay! This is great.
to it, David. Nice wide shot.
White shot.
Screech.
A little closer, Mr. Fogarty, get a little closer. Okay, ready? Yes, please. Excellent. Hey, congratulations. Yes.
Do we have a volleyball banner in the gym?
You're getting one, yeah, yeah.
She'd be mortified. Okay, then you be quiet. Okay. You could have said
Get me
something.
started, I'm trying to be good.
Did you want to say anything, Ms. Angelou,
Yeah.
as coach? You should.
You should. Come on,
Absolutely.
please,
This
come
is
on.
incredible. Go right ahead.
Speech.
Yes, please.
This is the first one ever.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say congratulations to the girls, and it's just been a pleasure to be their coach, and it's great to watch this program grow, and it is really exciting to be able to be the team that puts the banner on the wall, and they're great. It was a great season. They worked really hard, and it was a pleasure to watch them be able to win their first Colonial Division championship and the first ever in Cedar Grove volleyball history. So it's been a fun ride, and we're ready to keep going. Now on to states.
Yes!
Thank you. Now, I know most of you are probably excited to listen to the community service initiative at the high school, but feel free, if you want to go, because you have lots to do, you can absolutely go right now. You really can. No, it's okay.
Or you can
It's not-
stay.
It's not a test.
get up and leave. You can
Everybody
stay, you got
goes. It's totally
10 seconds to
fine.
decide.
Thank you for filling in. We appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Congratulations. The mic is, you have to fix the mic, because it's like,
Am I allowed to take it off?
yes, you can. I think as long as it's lit, yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, Mr.
So next as I said, we're going to hear a presentation on the community service initiative at the high school.
Hi, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Alexa Rubino. I'm one of the school counselors, and with me to present is Mrs. Denman, and the other school counselor, and Mrs. DeFabius, our new student assistance counselor. So when Mr. Mangili presented this program in question to us, we thought what better way could the students get more involved with the community than to reward them with a wonderful honor program. So this is what we came up with so far. It's an optional community service. Am I in the way or something?
You're okay.
I'm okay?
You're okay now.
Okay, better? So we came up with an optional community service project and volunteer hours. We would encourage freshmen and sophomores to complete at least 10 hours per year, juniors and seniors to complete at least 15 hours per year. But the catch with this is that if the seniors from this year want to get involved with our incentive, we would allow them to, because we're doing it a little bit into the school year. So they wouldn't have to complete all 4 years. Same goes for the juniors and the sophomores. As long as a student completes the required amount of hours before the third marking period, before the end of the third marking period, they will be invited to a community service student luncheon, as we do for Students of the Month and for various other activities. So students will be invited to participate in this luncheon, and for the current freshmen, they have to do the community service hours all 4 years in order to participate, in order to receive an honor cord at graduation. So the current seniors, if they get invited to the luncheon and they hit the appropriate amount of hours before the end of the third marking period, they're good to go for the cord and the luncheon. So let's say that a new student transfers in halfway through their sophomore year. What were we thinking of doing then? So instead of penalizing the student and not allowing them to get the honor cord, we would just have them make up the 10 hours in the time that they've been here and for subsequent years, just to make sure that they keep hitting the numbers. They'll receive a Kelly Green Community Service honor cord at graduation. I looked it up. That is the appropriate color for community service, and a bunch of other schools do similar things, honoring the students for their above and beyond participation, I'm thinking of the weather, participation in community service and bettering the community around us. And now you're probably all thinking, oh, how are they going to keep track of this? So that's when I hand it off to Mrs. Denman.
So one of the first things we thought about was actually how are we going to track this information? So we discovered a program called X2Vol. It's a sister program to our Naviance Family Connection that we've had for many years already. And we immediately hopped on, had a kind of a team meeting, call with them, and learned that it is the easiest way for students and ourselves on the back end to track hours. There's no paper involved at all. Actually, what we just wanted to show you very quickly was about a minute and a half video. It will really just show you everything that it's about. Bear with me here. Okay.
Tracking service hours should be as digital as your students. If the strategic initiatives for your district include promoting involvement in the community, volunteering, community service, or service learning, then our award-winning product, X2Vol, can help you centralize service by allowing school administrators to create service goals, post opportunities, and improve hours. X2Vol is being used by public and private schools nationwide to replace the paper tracking process. Here's how it works. X2Vol can be customized to a wide range of service program structures. You can set up multi-year service goals, annual service goals, and even set up requirements for different types of service. One of our experienced service program specialists will work with you to set it up. Once rolled out, school staff members will be able to post opportunities that are school-sponsored or post on behalf of nonprofit organizations. Schools also have the option to invite nonprofit organizations to post directly to the students. Students receive a reminder prior to the event, and after they've completed their service, they will log their hours and include the date, the number of hours, contact information, and their reflections. Verification, approval, and authentication is part of X2Vol's process. Service history and service transcripts are always available online to the student, the school, and the parents for use on the college application, scholarships, and resumes. Your students are making a positive difference in the community. It's easy to get started. We look forward to working with you.
Okay, so that kind of explained it a little bit. That's actually the first video that we watched that we said, wow, this looks like a great idea. Okay, so what we've also said is that whatever hours students do complete, we want them, for the Service Corps Recognition Program, to log hours within 48 hours. Just to kind of develop a little bit more responsibility. If they really want this recognition, they're gonna keep it going and log right away. Mrs. DeFabius will be the one kind of signing off and acknowledging and approving the hours. Students are gonna be allowed to print a transcript. So in addition to like resumes that they build for college, they'll be able to actually print a service transcript that they can attach to their college applications as well. Right now they're doing that on their own, so this will be a nice, more professional way to add to their applications. They also have an app that students love apps, so there's also an app that they can use for their phones that they can immediately, whatever hours they're like, while they're there, they can immediately log the hours and have their supervisor approve the hours, and then that will shoot over to our end so we can approve them on the high school side. So now how are we implementing this? Actually today, we just found out that all of our students have been imported into the system. So now it's just a matter of us visiting with the students and teaching them how to use this program. It will be very simple for our 10th through 12th graders because they all have Naviance Family Connection accounts already. So it's just a matter of teaching them this whole process. And actually what we included with you is a letter that we created. I think it's the next piece of paper that you have. There's another letter over there. We've created a letter to parents. We'll give it to the students as well, just explaining our program. Attached to that is like an FAQ question and answer sheet. So that's what we'll be going over with the students, and we will be meeting with the freshmen in more of a small group setting, probably in their classes, because we first have to get them connected with their Naviance accounts, and while we do that, we'll then connect them with X2Vol. And I'm going to pass it off to Mrs. DeFabius.
Okay, so kind of going off the video, we have a lot of benefits of X2 Vol. For the high school students, they can find service opportunities and sign up for any kind of community service that is out there. We will also draft up a letter that gets sent to any communities that we have in town that we would want to send out. They can actually, we will send them a link. They can actually link on to the X2 Vol website, register. X2 Vol will approve them if they see fit as a nonprofit organization. We'll send them an email, and then the community service or the organization can actually post any opportunities for students to sign up for. They will receive reminders if they sign up for something a few weeks, a month ahead of time. They will receive a reminder as well, and they will be able to track their progress. Nonprofit organizations, as I said, they'll be invited by us. They can register for free, and any opportunities that they have, they can post on the website for the students to register. School administration, it saves us time. There's no paperwork. We can generate time reports. We can generate any kind of transcripts that they want for college or for resumes. And I'll be approving, partially approving, or if it's something that I don't see fit as community service, or if it's an organization that they do outside that we don't feel is appropriate for them, I can also have the opportunity to deny it. And we can recognize students for their services. There's actually a part that we can go on, and it's called an incentive message. If a student, we can have them, the X2 Vol kind of let us know if a student has, let's say, 50% of their completion of goals, we can have an incentive message. Hey, great job, you're halfway done, keep up the good work, just to keep them motivated. This is what the student will see when they get to their dashboard. So on the left-hand side, you'll see the green. That's their progress, that's the goals that have been approved, and they'll also have goals that are waiting my approval or the verification from the organization as well. There'll be a bulletin. Staff or myself, we can have reminders, we can give them information, any nonprofit organizations that are out there that we want to add, we can add that to the bulletin as well. They'll also be able to keep track of the hours that they have, cumulative hours, and hours that they're waiting to be approved. This is also where the student will be able to log their hours. If they have an event or a project that is already on X2 Vol, they can register, sign up, and log their hours. If they want to do a nonprofit organization that is not registered on X2 Vol, they can still log their hours on here. They would just have to go to create a personal project. They fill in all the information. They provide the phone number and the email of the nonprofit organization that they're at. The X2 Vol program will then send us or send them a link so that they can actually verify that the student was there completing the hours, and then I can go ahead and approve their hours. At staff and myself, this is what we see. This is how we set up the goals. As you'll see in red, we set up for class of 2021, I believe. And we put to complete the 10 hours of outside non-school related community service. So we put the hours, we'll have a start date and an end date so the student will know when they have to have their hours in by to receive credit for it. And the number of goals, and the goals at the end will be 50 goals so that they can receive a cord as well as an invitation to the luncheon. Ladies, do you have anything to add?
One more thing, because I feel like this question will come up. We are doing this to recognize students that are going above and beyond, and we know so many of our students already do. They're in All-School Council, they're in National Honor Society, or any of the other honor societies. For this specific recognition, we have kind of talked about not allowing double dipping of hours. Because National Honor Society, for example, they have to complete a minimum number of hours to maintain their status. We're not going to let those hours also count for this. This is really the above and beyond stuff. So that's just something additional I wanted to mention.
And under adding the goals for the students, let's say Ms. Watson is interested in adding All School Council and becoming an admin for X2 Vol, she could have her All School Council kids logging their hours for All School Council on here as well. So kids can keep track of how many hours they're doing for National Honor Society, how many for Spanish National Honor Society, All School Council, Key Club. Whatever club at school wants to get access to this, they 100% have access to it to help the kids keep all of their hours in check and all that stuff. Does anyone have any questions?
No, just a comment. This is awesome. This is something I've been on the board, as you know, for a while, and I've always wanted to have this type of program at the high school. And we've talked about it as a board for a while, and I know that we talked about it as being, you know, some of the options for us was maybe making it mandatory. But I like this whole idea, and I mean, this is a nice surprise. I didn't even know we were seeing this. I mean, I knew we were seeing a presentation, but I didn't know it was this exactly. And I think it's amazing, and I thank you for doing all this, because it's important, you know, and I think it's also another way of building character, and I think that when they know it, and I think once it starts catching on, the competitiveness, I think, just amongst students will, it might be slow in the beginning, but once each graduation they see the green cord, which I think is an amazing addition as well, it'll really give them the incentive, and I think it's a really great program. So thank you for this. This has been something I've really wanted a long time. Awesome.
Yeah, no, thank you. This is great. And this is just goes up, you know, well, some of the concern has always been just, you know, students checking the box that they got it, you know, done. And this is just so much more than that. This
Totally.
is, I mean, it's really, really great. I appreciate that. And thanks to Mr. Featherman, who, you know, we kind of gave him the idea or the push and said, we'd really like to see this happen. And he really ran with it right away, and then went to Mr. Mangili, who went to his staff. So you know, it kind of got done very quickly. So thank you to everybody who made that happen. I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Are they excused now, too?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, they should feel free to, as riveting as the next presentation is, I
So like
completely
you'll talk
understand.
to, so now for the seniors, they know about this yet, or you're gonna, so,
So probably, I'm hoping before Christmas break, we're gonna meet with everybody.
We're gonna put it out, right.
great,
And then that letter.
Are they shooting back there? Who's next?
awesome, this is awesome, thank
The
you.
ladies are going.
Great, thank
Did
you.
hear- Did Ava tell you? She got a number 2? She got Westchester.
President Dye?
Yeah,
Are we ready
moving
for-
on.
Ready? Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, appreciate it.
Hello, good
Thank
evening.
you.
Hello.
And our last presentation is going to be regarding the report cards at the elementary school with Mrs. DiMatteo and Mrs. Dyer, so welcome.
Thank you so much for having us this evening. It's such a pleasure to see you all. We are going to do a quick presentation tonight about our elementary grading procedures at North End and South End. And so today, I'm going to just talk to you briefly about the report cards first, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. DiMatteo, and she's going to talk about our new rubrics. So just to kind of go through a few things and think about where we are and how we got to where we are today. We started and created our current standards-based report card in 2014-15 and during that school year. And so we did that as a way to become more in alignment with the Common Core state standards at the time. Of course, now we know that they're New Jersey Student Learning Standards. However, one of the things that we were looking at was trying to come up with a uniform way of assessing what we know students need to know and be able to do by the end of the school year, and be able to identify that specific content and those key standards at each grade level so that we could rate children based on what they're expected to know and be able to do again by the end of the school year. And so grade levels worked at that time to create the report cards that you have in front of you. And so they spent a lot of time looking at them to see what should the components be of each one of those documents. Fast forward to now, we lived those report cards. We instituted them 2014-15 and 15-16. And after you spend some time as an educator living a document and trying to see how do we gather all the data that we need to be able to quantify each one of those measures, what changes did we need to make? Did we need to make some revisions? Are there certain things that maybe need to be deleted or added or changed or tweaked? And so our teachers at North End and South End collaborated last spring and then into the fall to look at each one of those report cards and those documents to make those changes. And then Mrs. DiMatteo and I looked over them over the summer and then had to give some feedback, some things that we wanted to see still represented if necessary, or any changes that we wanted to add on top of that, and we gave that back to them. So what you have in front of you are documents for each grade level. You have the first document. If you look at the tops of them, they're separated by grade level. The first one in front of you is the red, with the red marks on it. Those are the revisions that were made to the existing documents that we were using. And so you have that one there, and then right behind it, you have the new revised report card. So you can see some grade levels have lots of changes, others do not. It just depended on what they were living. Some boxes you'll notice that may be marked out. For example, in kindergarten, some of those standards aren't really assessed until towards the end of the year because they're 5 when they come in. And so some of those things we look at a little later into the school year, or it might not be developmentally appropriate for us to look at those at that time. So that's why you might see a box there. The rating scales remain the same. The performance levels are still there, the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1, those are still there. But one of the things that we have been recognizing is it becomes a little bit difficult to then really quantify just by looking, what does that 4 mean? What does a 4, what do you have to do to indicate what that 4 status is, or what does a 3 look like, or what does a 2 look like? So we started having those conversations in the over the last year or so, and we said, well, we need to really develop rubrics that go along with each one of those standards. So the teachers knew going in that not only were they going to be responsible for revising the report card, but then their next task was going to be to create a rubric that goes with each one of those standards, so that if a parent said to me or to a teacher, why did my child earn a 3 in this indicator, that a parent could look at that rubric and say, oh, my child got a 3 because they are at that area. Sorry, I'm stealing her thunder. I don't want to do that. So without further ado, benchmark rubrics.
So I didn't mean to be, but I'm looking at, we actually expect them to spell words phonetically and punctuation correctly in kindergarten?
Frank has problems with that now.
He does.
This is amazing.
His eyes are open wide. This is groundbreaking.
You know, maybe after you complete your board duties, maybe we'll send you back to kindergarten just to see how you do.
They got apps now, Frank. They got
Come back,
apps.
Dan.
Excuse me, we don't get a choice here. Please,
I
let us
know.
know where he fits.
I think we should be looking at the second page with behavior right now.
Yeah.
Somebody's ready to go home.
On you, Mr.
I think we
Mandela.
need to calm down there. As Ms. Dyer said.
Self-controlled.
0.
As Ms. Dyer said, one of the things that we found parents asking over and over again is, what is a 3? What is a 2? What did my child have to do to get to that appropriate level to show mastery? And so when you look at this slide, we decided that the rubrics would help the teachers to really be able to explain to parents what needs to be met at a certain point in each trimester. So at the top, when you look at the top part, I took a snippet of just the report card. So this is a grade 1 part of the reading, the English Language Arts section, the reading, and you see listed under it all the different standards that the student would, some of the standards, because I only took a part of it, that the student would need to know during the course of first grade. When you look at the bottom part where the rubric is, you'll see that the standards at the top, so where it says reads at grade level, the first part of the rubric is reads at grade level. And it breaks it down by trimester. So what does a student have to do during the first trimester to earn a 4, a 3, a 2, or a 1? During the second trimester, how does that change? Because we have to remember that standards-based grading is not linear. So it changes according to what the skill is that the student is learning at that point and where they are in achieving mastery. So if you look, the way the rubric is broken up, it's broken up by trimester, and the parents are able to see, well, at the end of the first trimester, my child should be here if they're getting a 3, or here if they're getting a 2 in each of the particular indicators, which are the standards on the report card itself. Okay, and then if we look at math, we did the same thing. We looked at what does the child have to know after each trimester that's going to constitute that 3 or that 4 or that 2. And you'll notice that in addition to the trimester, some of them say all. Those are skills that are learned and reinforced throughout the school year so that the students will always be revisiting them through the year. and those are constant in the curriculum and what they're doing. The rubrics will be available to the parents on the district website. So we're going to put those by the curriculum part, so when they bring it down, they're able to look at also the standards, the performance rubric that goes with it. The teachers addressed this at Back to School Night. They talked to the parents about the rubrics themselves and how they're aligned to the report card. But we're going to e-blast to the parents a better explanation and a more detailed one, because you know what happens at Back to School Night. They're just inundated with everything. And we feel that we need to really define it before the report card comes up next week on December 15th.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
day.
Any questions?
I'm just curious
And
now.
the amount of work that
I
everyone
was gonna
must
say,
put into
Was a
this.
lot.
Looks
Oh my
like
gosh.
a lot
And we
of work.
thank you for everything, but one quick question. It's K through 3.
Yes.
What happens in 4?
They get
Well, fourth grade, if you recall, we kept it as letter grades
Okay.
because we wanted to make the transition to middle school
Okay,
more smooth for them. So we kept it as
Thank you for
the
saving me
letter
a lot of money
grades.
this
Yeah.
marking period.
I'm assuming there is a rubric for kindergarten, we just didn't.
Very good question. There is, and that's still a work in progress. Their report card doesn't go live until February because they only have 2 semesters as opposed to the trimesters that the other grades have. And so, sometimes Mrs. Donato and I are a little tough. And so, we're still working on it, but they're almost there. We just didn't want to rush it and try to get something approved that wasn't finished.
And of course, kindergartens will look a little bit different because we're looking at 2 marking periods for them instead of the trimester one.
Right.
So,
And it should also be noted too, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mrs. Donadio, that obviously you mentioned about what kindergartners are expected to be able to know and be able to do by the end of kindergarten, but there are some things that there's not a whole lot to say. So theirs isn't quite as meaty as some of the other grades as we go through, just because there's only so many ways to break up knows how to count to 10 or knows how to count to 100. And so theirs is a lot less on a smaller scale in many ways. There's just not as many details. You'll see those as soon as they finish those up.
You ready to go back to K?
The revised report card.
This is awesome.
Kindergarten's report card is there.
Right. What an amazing resource for parents, though.
Really
I
is.
mean, absolutely. To be
Yeah.
able to look at a 3 and say, okay, well, what does the 3 mean? Oh, okay, this is what my child can or can't do. This is great.
It's so detailed.
It really is.
Actually,
Absolutely.
there's no guesswork.
This is amazing.
It's a far cry from the S's
Love
and
it.
the O's.
They
that's
did.
for sure.
They didn't like us.
Love it.
They
This
did a
is,
really great job.
And how about
An awesome
efforting and all that stuff? Is effort's still part of the whole thing? That's still in there, right? Still includes effort, yeah.
We just addressed this year ELA and math,
Mhm.
and hopefully, build on that with science and social studies for at least 3rd and 4th grade.
Especially because we were just really grappling with next generation science standards too, and so we'll be working on that next moving forward. But there are still the work habits and different things that are still identified on there.
Great.
This
Thank
is
you.
great.
This is really great.
It's
Thank
really
you very
great,
much.
yeah.
Mr. Mangili, would you like a similar system in
Yes.
your school, or?
No, but you bring up one point about the transition from 3rd to 4th grade. We do numbers now at the high school. That might be something that I might want to talk to Mrs. DeCourt about in the 3rd grade. I don't know how difficult that
Yeah.
is, but just something that popped into my head in regards to those transitions. We don't do letter grades in the high school, we do numbers. I know the middle school does letter grades.
Yeah, that is a big change.
Yeah,
You're right.
that is.
So just something that we might want to talk about. We have an administrative meeting on Friday, I think I'm going to bring it.
You should.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that'll be, we'll ask Mr. Record to have that ready by what, February?
February? Why would we? January 1st looks very good.
It looks great.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again.
no,
Yeah,
this is
Really
amazing.
amazing.
I
Thank
liked when we switched 2014, 2015. I mean, this takes it to another level. This is,
It really does.
it's amazing. Great tool for
It's
parents.
gonna be very confused now when I get A's and B's instead of 1, 2, and 3.
And you can feel free to be excused if you want to go as well. It's totally fine. We know you have an early morning.
You could stay with us. We need
Or
some
you can
company.
stay and watch us push her to the limits.
We have the Verona Cedar Grove Times here.
Yes.
What more do we need?
Joe, we know you're still with us.
Yes, Joe's with us. She's getting married. Did you know that?
All right,
Not after I talk to him.
we're moving on.
Are we ready?
Yes.
We are. Back
Joe,
to the agenda.
I'm going with.
It's a quick agenda.
It is.
I'm going with 8 minutes, Joe.
From the Office of the Business Administrator and Board Secretary under minutes, can I have a motion for B1 and B2?
So moved.
Second.
B1 is a motion to approve the public and executive minutes of November 21st, 2017. And B2 is a motion to approve the Board Secretary's certification to the Cedar Grove Board of Education. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pervulovich.
Yes.
Mr. Shoner.
Aye.
Mr. Valero.
Aye.
Mr. Mandela.
Aye.
Mrs. Dai.
Yes. Under business, can I have a motion for B3 through B6?
So moved.
Second.
B3 is a motion to accept the generous donation in the amount of $750 from the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. B4 is a motion to accept the generous donation in the amount of $1,500 from the Cedar Grove High School APT. B5 is a motion to approve the third quarter unemployment payment of $2,459.49. And B6 is a motion to approve reimbursement to Kathy Jablonski for reinstating the Cedar Grove Education Foundation certificate. Any discussion? I just want to mention,
Yeah.
for B6, it's actually really exciting. I know it just says we're approving the reimbursement to Mrs. Jablonski, but the fact that we're reinstating the Cedar Grove Education Foundation is really big news, and we look forward to hearing a lot about it and in the next coming months. But we're really excited, so stay tuned for that. It's very exciting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Pervulovich.
Yes.
Mr. Shoner.
Aye.
Mr. Valero.
Aye.
Mr. Mandela.
Aye.
Mrs. Dai.
Yes. From the Office of the Superintendent of Schools, under Personnel, can I have a motion for S1 through, I guess that would be S10?
S10.
So moved.
Second.
S1 is a motion to affirm the superintendent's report on harassment, intimidation, and bullying from December 5th, 2017. S2 is a motion to approve Erin Jensen, high school Spanish teacher, at the rate listed, prorated December 18th through June 30th, 2018. S3 is a motion to approve the employment extension of Susan Amato, North End maternity leave replacement preschool teacher, from February 1st through April 30th, 2018. S4 is a motion to retroactively transfer Gwen Greenwald, paraprofessional, from Memorial Middle School to South End, effective December 1st. S5 is a motion to approve the following stipends for coaching positions for the spring 2018. S6 is a motion to approve the following substitute teachers for the 17-18 school year at the rate listed below. S7 is a motion to approve the following as school volunteers. S8 is a motion to authorize attendance at the following events. S9 is a motion to approve the following leaves of absence. And S10 is a motion to approve the following students for classroom observation. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Pervulovich.
Yes.
Mr. Shoner.
Aye.
Mr. Valero.
Aye.
Mr. Mandela.
Aye.
Mrs. Dai.
Yes. Under policies and regulations, do you need to speak about this at all, or we just? Okay. Can I have a motion for S11?
So moved.
Second.
S11 is a motion to approve upon first reading the following policy revision, which is the table of organization, which everyone received. Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Pervulovich.
Yes.
Mr. Shoner.
Aye.
Mr. Valero.
Aye.
Mr. Mandela.
Aye.
Mrs. Dai.
Yes. The meeting is open to the public for comment on items on or off the agenda.
Don't everybody jump in once.
Seeing none. Announcement of future meetings. Last meeting of the year. Wow. December 19th, here, 7 PM exact, 8 PM regular. And then January 2nd, 2018 will be our reorg meeting, which, it's just crazy that January is upon us. That will also be the same time, will be 7 PM exact, 8 PM regular. And then our next meeting in January, which.
You're confusing it.
I'm not
Just
confusing,
wait
I want to
till
give them a
then.
preview. The second beginning with the second meeting in January, we're gonna move our meetings up a little bit. So executive will be from 6:30 to 7:30, and then the, general meeting will start at 7:30.
Starting the second meeting in January.
Yes, and I
We'll
will
talk
repeat
about
that
that,
for the next two meetings.
Bringing it up too soon.
But you know what, some
that's
people may
okay.
put it on their calendars that starting in January, they're gonna come every meeting, and I wouldn't want them to mess up the times if they were doing that, so. Anything else?
Just waiting for the motion.
All right, well, fine. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Pavulovich.
Yes.
Mr. Shoner.
Yes.
Mr. Valero.
Aye.
Mr. Mandela.
Aye.
Ms. Dye.
Yes. The meeting's over. Have a good evening, everyone.
Good job.